Alright, so the next thing that I need to show you guys is sub UVs, which in Unity are simply called the texture sprite animation sheet, texture sheet animation. In Unreal, it's a bit different the way we set it up because we have to use a custom, like a different type of texture node inside of the material in order for them to work in the particle system. So I'm just going to create the standard particles for now. Um, let's create a material for it. Call it fxmat underscore sub uv underscore 01, and I'll double click this. Translucent, unlit. It doesn't need to be two-sided because they're going to be on billboards, which are always facing us. Let's just check these particle options. Use with particle sprites, yes. Mesh particles, in case. I'm just going to check it on. And well, let me do the wrong thing first. So if I just got a texture sample parameter 2D, I would get, I'm speaking too fast for what I can actually do. I'm gonna plug this here. Opacity, I'm going to use red channel. Now if I just save this, alright, so now that I have this saved, I can go here, I can apply it, and we are not seeing anything. Why? Maybe I'm using the wrong channel for the alpha. I remember doing some kind of custom wizardry with that texture. That's why it looks green. I think I'm using one channel for the glow of the lightning and one channel for the alpha, or I'm gonna have to look at it in Photoshop again. Are we seeing something? Ah, there it is. Yeah, there it is. You know what we could do is we have our alpha over there. We could simply put a color that it would be sort of bluish like this. Value of 50 again. Let's just multiply it like this and save. This should be looking better. Almost looking better. What if I boost it even more? And I'm not even going to multiply it. I'm just gonna put this to a value of 500. We are seeing something. I feel impatient for you guys every time every time I save something and I have to wait. Alright, alright. We have something that glows, we have something that's visible. Let me just get closer to it. So right now, all four sprites are appearing all the time. And let me just lower the frequency over here. I'm also going to quit Discord for now. It's too bothersome. Alright, so we have this. And what we would need to use normally to choose one texture out of the four is a combination between some stuff in the required module. We have to go down and scroll down over here to sub UVs. interpolation method, over here we can set it to random. And you know what, it's not gonna work now, so I might as well just go ahead with sub image index. And in here is where I can say, wait, is it sub UV movie? I haven't done this for a while. Where do I set it? Oh yeah, that's where it is. Okay, so sub image is horizontal. So I'm in the required tab right now, in case you missed my click. So this is where I would put 2 and 2. And you know what? Never mind everything I was saying. I guess it was patched in the latest version of Unreal or something, because there is another node called texture sample parameter sub UV, and we used to actually have to we used to be required to use that one instead, but I don't know, it's been fixed. So well, it's even more simple than I thought. There we go. I set it to random, so it's taking a sprite randomly. If I were to go, if I wanted this to be animated, um, in the case of lightning, I would rather just pick a random value, a random frame, and it appears so briefly that it doesn't need to be playing through a cycle of an animation. But if I wanted to animate this, I would go in here and I would make it go from, let me just bound one at a time. It is not changing. Okay, so I'm going from, we have 4 frames, so maybe I need to put a number 4. It's not working. Maybe it's because I set this to random. What if I set it to linear? Ah, yeah, that's the thing. There you go. Yeah, so we have 2 by 2, that's 4 frames. So the value that we need over here is a 4. If I just go from 0 to 1, it doesn't switch at all. If I put a 5 actually. Yeah, if I put a higher number, it's just going to cycle more than once through the entire texture. So it's as simple as that. Uh, for this lightning, uh, something that I like to do, uh, you guys should remember the way that we distort the UVs. If we want lightning to sort of wriggle, you know, like kind of shake on itself, we can shake the UVs using a normal map or any type of noise. So let's go in our texture folder and let's import a noise, something like this. My favorite noise, it's just my favorite. So let's just put this in here, and we can, well, actually, do I have a normal map in there? I don't. Yeah, grayscale will work too. So simply going to use a banner. I'm going to plug inside of this one's UVs. I'm gonna need some text chords. I'm gonna plug here. I'm going to need the speed. I know that I usually always put 2 different settings that I append and plug it in speed. But if I want to move something diagonally by the same value, I can simply plug a single value. So it will move X and Y by the same amount, since I only plugged a single thing in here. So I can give it a default value of 1. This one would be called speed. And then I get another text chords, to which I add to which I add the red channel, but I'm going to give myself a multiplier so I can control by how much I can control the distortion amount, basically. I'm gonna call this distortion amount, basically. No, I'm just kidding. Alright, distortion amount. Let's give it a default value of 1. It's going to be too high, and then we're gonna lower it down. So let's plug these together. It's going to be added there. There we go. And save. Alright, so so we get this thing over here. Obviously it's moving too fast. If I put this to 0 and now it's static, if I put it to 0.1, you can see actually if I remove the velocity, yeah, there we go. So the distortion is really high right now. So if I go here and I lower this, yes, that's the kind of movement I wanted. Maybe 0.05 is not enough. And you know what? Maybe I could get a different texture. And it's always moving towards the same direction. What I could do is, is subtract, because right now it's either 0 or 1 because it's between black and white. But if I subtract 0.5, oh, you know what? I'm going to use a different node for this. It's called constant bias scale. This node allows me to do an addition and a multiplication in the same one. So if I subtract 0.5 and I multiply by 2, now my range is going between -1 and 1 instead of between 0 and 1. So if what this means is that if I plug this now and save, the movement is going to go back and forth, not just forth. There we go. So I guess we could change the value over here now to 0.05. So that's what you get. And if I set the lifetime to something really short, maybe 0.1, and if I go back here and put the sub UV to random, now they're spawning at different frames. And let's give a higher value over here. It's not looking so good. Let's give it some velocity again. Maybe 50 is too much. 20. 10. Well, anyway, we have some more work to do on it, obviously. Because right now, we haven't set a way to make them fade out. But if we were to plug the vertex particle color and such. Uh, anyway, I just wanted to explain sub UVs. So this is how you can do it. That's it for sub UVs.